Hello, if you can see me through my hair, I'm Marcus, and today we are at the Hull City training ground talking to Kieran, Dowell and Lewie Coyle about mental health. I'm very excited, this is going to be amazing, let's have it. Now, I've never interviewed anyone before, so I'm bricking it. I can't wait to start. But the first question for you both is, what does mental health actually mean to you?
I think it's something what's probably become more and more common in football. Me coming through the system in the academy, it was not spoken about, like the emotions of football, and then once I've got into the men's game, I've had lots of highs and lots of lows, and you almost sort of learn on the job to try and like not get too high and too low is the common phrase probably you hear nowadays. And yeah, I think it's obviously a bigger and bigger thing as the years have gone on, but like I say, it's very much about trying to keep steady as you can.
I always think the highs always outweigh the lows.
Oh, big time, yeah. But yeah, like you say, if you're all highs, if you're all lows, you don't appreciate the good stuff. Do you know what I mean? So you do need that balance, and
100%.
And yeah, it's life really, isn't it? It's like every walk of life, not just football. You're going to have ups and downs, aren't you?
I love that.
Yeah. No, for me again, like Dowell said, I think I was probably brought up through football more of like an old school era, and it's not really spoken about. And you say you have your struggles, you just crack on and get on with it. But I think there is a lot more people that speak about it now, which I think is really important. I think that probably makes people feel a little bit more comfortable with speaking out if they are struggling. Again, everybody's different. Everybody has different ways of dealing with it. But I think even just having a conversation around it is so important to know that people are going to struggle. Like you say, there's a network, there's a system where they can go and get help. But yeah, I think try and stay on that happy medium. Again, it is easy in football, results sort of based industry. You're up here 1 minute and you can be down there. So I've always tried to base my life and sport, if you like, just sort of not just tick along. I don't mean that. Obviously, you've got to be ambitious and you've got to enjoy the small wins. But yeah, try and stay at that happy medium.
No, it's beautiful. Now, in football, you meet a lot of teammates, you meet a lot of people, you meet a lot of fans, but how important is it to you both to check up on your teammates and check that they're okay and making sure they're ticking along as well, as you say?
Definitely, yeah. And I think he is very good for that. It's a really tight group. You can imagine like a few foreign lads coming in, they haven't got many people to speak to sometimes in other clubs, but I think here it's very good for that in the sense of togetherness. Everyone feels like they can get whatever they need to say off the chest. And it's a bit of an open forum, really. And it's like I said earlier, it's probably getting more and more common around in the game. So it can only be a good thing.
Yeah, no, I love that. As you say, there's so many different core groups in a football team. So I suppose you've seen so many different players here, and you know, as a captain, you know, it's not your job, but you also check up on people as well. How do you feel it's important to speak to your teammates, and how would you go about that?
Yeah, I do. I think it's very, very important. Like you say, I think it's easy sometimes. You come into work, you just assume everybody's okay. But like you say, you've got that many different people with that many different things going on in their life. It is important to almost learn behaviours of people, and then it's probably my job, or I feel it's more my responsibility as captain of the team, to learn them behaviours, learn them traits. And if I sort of sense some things off, of course, it's very rare someone's going to walk into work and say, I'm not okay today, and let everybody know. But for me, I think it's really important that I make sure I do sort of know or spot it, or see if someone's having a bit of a tough day, or if they've got something going on. Because like you say, we're all just human beings. Yeah, we're footballers and that's our job, but we're just like any other people that have everyday problems going on in their life. So yeah, it's very important. And I think, like Dowell said, we are a very, very, very tight-knit group, and I think you probably would feel comfortable if someone did put their arm around you and say, is everything okay? You probably would have the confidence to say, actually, having a bit of a tough time. And I think that's important, that the group feels that they can give that to someone, because again, we all struggle. Everybody has different bits. So yeah, I think it's really, really important.
I genuinely think that's beautiful. I will say, like, you sat here and you think, oh, I'm interviewing two footballers, but we've all just got a mind, we've all got
normal people, yeah, just two normal kids, and like the rest are down there like that. I think that's why we're really lucky this year with the group we've got. And like, for me, it'll always be like people before football, in terms of what someone could be an amazing player, but if they're not the right type, then it's hard to sort of integrate them into a group. But yeah, we're lucky. We're just normal lads.
Yeah, has he made sure that you're welcome when you came here?
Big time, yeah.
He could have thrown me under the bus and said, I'm the worst captain ever.
No, yeah, like Skip was saying, he's obviously made a good point there with you've got mates in the team, and you can probably notice if someone isn't themselves, and that's probably a good time to sort of like ask them or see how they're getting on, see if they want to speak about anything.
Right, I don't do social media, but I have it, and I think a lot of footballers, well, most footballers do have social media, and when you get home after a game and like you see these things, you probably don't want to look at it, or you do look at it if you've had a good game, but how do you deal with the outside world, and how do you make sure that it doesn't let what they say get into your head? I've always wondered that.
Yeah, to be fair, I think goes back to what we were saying earlier about like getting too high or low. Like I've been, as a young lad, playing like early on in my career, was interested in what people wanted for to me and stuff, and you're looking at the comments, but then the one bad one that'll do you. That's the one what you focus on. Do you know what I mean? So learned pretty early in my career to sort of like take that sort of stuff with a pinch of salt, and to be fair, some of the stuff's quite funny. If you might not think it at the time, but yeah, you can look back and think like, it's quite funny that.
Yeah, no, I think for me again, when I was younger, like you say, I was on it. I'm not actually personally on Twitter myself, on Instagram, but I keep my socials very sort of unreachable, if you like. Obviously people can comment on your stuff, I get that, but Twitter I'm not on. I've removed myself from even looking at it. Obviously, like Dowell said, I'll get a few of my mates saying, oh look what's been said about you, or this, that and the other, and again, some of it is funny, but I think the more you read of something, whether it's true or not, you probably subconsciously start to believe it if you see something enough. So I just think, sort of take myself out of that situation, and after a game I'm usually dying to get home to see my little boy. I'm very, very lucky. I've got a beautiful family to go home to, so as it's one of them, I'm not going to be sat in the car on the drive thinking what so-and-so said who's watched the game today. I'm fortunately past all that.
That's beautiful. No, family's everything.
It is, sure is.
Now, as footballers, you have so many young fans and fans looking up to you and watching. If you could give a message, or what would you say to a fan that's maybe struggling with their mental health? And I will say one thing, a lot of people use Hull City and use football as their getaway, and that's something I always think is beautiful. Is I've met people, you can cut this out, but I've met people that live and breathe to come to MKM on Saturday and meet people, and it's such a big community, but people do struggle, and to be fair, it's a thank you to both of you, because you help them without maybe you knowing. But what would you say to the fans that are maybe struggling, and to the young fans that feel like they need someone to speak to?
That's the one, like you said. I think like having sort of like hobbies and stuff like that is massive thing to do. So if you're having a bit of a bad time, but you've got the game to look forward to, or you're going to watch the match on the weekend, most likely young fans are going to be going with someone to the game. So you've got that whole experience of the match day experience, and then probably wherever you're going with, you're most likely going to be pretty close to them. So maybe just like reach out to those guys who you go in the game with and have a chat with them, because like we said earlier, like everyone's just human. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's got their own problems going on. So I'm sure nowadays everyone's more and more happy to listen and to speak about and to sort of open up with each other.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful.
I think the network of people you keep around you is very, very important. I think they're the ones you trust, and probably they're the only ones that you would feel comfortable like sort of reaching out and speaking if you were struggling. And I think again, keep yourself busy. If it is the football that you love, then keep coming to the football. And again, I'm not saying you have to open yourself up to everyone and tell them all your problems, but even just a little chat with someone, get a few things off your chest. I think, like you say, it just maybe lightens the burden a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And you might feel that just helps you. But yeah, certainly the people you keep round you is massive for me.
Oh, amazing.
Definitely.
It's mad when you go to the game, you see like, as footballers, you'll just see a massive crowd. You don't realise it is everyone in there.
Individual person's got a story,
so true,
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a beautiful thing about football, is the community.
Well, I think we probably, because obviously we've played for that many years, I think we don't ever forget, but I think you sometimes maybe take for granted how much it is somebody's life. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's the one thing they look forward to on a weekend or midweek. Like you say, some of the young kids you see travelling to the away games, like it wrecks them away, or like one of the further ones even should I say. But yeah, it's amazing.
So what's one small thing that you think people can do every day to help their mental health? I
think we're probably fortunate because we have to do it, but going outside and we obviously train outside, but I think getting outside, the fresh air and just being outside, I think that's really, really good thing to do, because obviously imagine you were stuck in the house all day. You start feeling a little bit cabin fever, you get a bit stuffy, so I'd recommend that, to be honest.
I've got to say, you played in Scotland, the views there must be unreal.
Amazing, yeah. Yeah. And you take it for granted, really, like you're sort of in that bubble, just like thinking about football, you forget like you're in like a gorgeous part of the world, do you know what I mean? You're right.
I think exercise, again, it's not to just say the same thing as what Dowell has, but whether that be you're at a gym, or even if you can't get to the gym, you can go outside. Everybody can do that. Everybody can get outside and do whatever level of exercise that you feel you can, because never once in my life have I done exercise and felt bad for it or regretted it. Oh, wish I didn't do that run, or it might have been a hard one or a tough gym session, whatever it may be. But I just think keeping your mind occupied while training and trying to stay relatively fit, and like Dowell said, even just a walk, a 5-10 minute walk, whatever it is you feel you can do, I feel that has a real positive impact, certainly for me personally, if I've got up and trained early doors, and that sort of sets you up for the rest of your day, really.
I love that. I will say, you probably don't think about it, but this is very inspiring. I genuinely love this class.
I think you probably forget sometimes how much you do, how much you inspire people, bud.
How old are you?
I've just turned 18.
Exactly. Incredible.
Unbelievable, mate.
I mean, you meet so many different people on a daily basis that you sometimes forget, like, these people go home and they have a life. And for me, when you ask someone if they're okay, it is so important that you do speak about your feelings. Mental health is such a difficult thing, because everyone's different how they deal with things. Some people like to get on with it themselves. Some people like to use exercise, play football, do this. But talking about your emotions is the most important thing. And I've lost friends to mental health, and I've struggled with it in the past, and I know now that if I'm struggling, I'd reach out to people and I'd speak about it, and there's nothing more important than speaking. And as you say, if you don't say you're all right the first time, I think it's just speaking about your emotions and opening up, even though sometimes it feels weak or vulnerable to break down that wall, but there is the strongest people in the world suffer, and I think that's so important. You could see footballers, you know what I mean, and this whole thing about sports people, or these really big people you see on the TV, but they're all human, so I think it's important.
I think it is on that though, like you say, the amount of times someone has said, "Morning, you all right?" and it's just like a generic answer that just rolls off your tongue. You could have had the worst day and you just go, "Yeah, all good. Yep, sound. I'm great." Or "Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?" But like you say, then if someone actually asked you again and said, are you okay? Sure everything's okay? You probably would then think, am I okay? Or is he asking that for a reason? And then, like you say, the answer probably is a little bit different. So there probably is a lot of power and strength in somebody asking you, are you okay, twice? Because that second time, like you say, you might really rethink it and think, actually, do you know what? I'm going to have a little chat for 5 minutes. And you might not, but also it feels then more genuine, instead of it just being a normal, generic, morning, you okay? Someone's asking you twice, they obviously care deeply about you.
No, 100%.
Yeah, and that probably comes on, if you are, like you're saying, asking them twice, it probably comes on the back of, like we were saying earlier, spotting a little trait where someone's being a bit quieter than they normally are, or a bit within themselves. And so it's not like you're going around to everyone asking them, are they all right, twice, you know what I mean? It's probably the ones who you're closest to are the ones who are going to pick up on those traits, and they're the ones to do that. Like you say, there's probably a bit of power in that, yeah.
Why would you say it's important for clubs like Hull City, football teams, to support people like Haymind and to talk about mental health?
Just because I think of how more and more people are speaking about it worldwide, or definitely from what I know in the country, I think it's important for the club to do that. I think it represents the club well, and like you say, you look at the stadium, there's 25 or so thousand of individual brains who all got their own problems thinking about stuff. So I think it can only benefit the community, and and for the club to do that, well, people look up to Hull City, so they'll probably listen a little bit more if it's coming from the club. So I think that's definitely a positive from it.
There'll be so many people watching this, and they'll have taken a lot away from it.
Yeah, I think, like you say, the fans and everybody that supports this club, pay their hard-earned money, they come and support, they give up their time to obviously come. I know it's the thing they want to do, but I think the club probably then owe it to the fans for how much support they show the club. I think the club exactly, and they do. I know this club does some amazing things for people that struggle, and like you say, they voice it that they're there to help. But I think the club probably do owe it to the fans to support them for any sort of struggles that they might be having. And like you say, Hull City as a brand, as an organisation, it's a powerful thing. People are drawn to that. And if the people that are struggling support the club, know there's that network of support, or the club can point them in the right direction, then that's just a positive for everybody involved.
100%. I will say Hull's helped me with my mental health a lot, and I've always said that. I remember when I was at my lowest a few years ago, I went to Hull City, I watched the games, and that helped me through so much. And you go watch this, and you might win, you might not, but it's the day, it's the community.
100%, yeah.
I was like, football is, obviously you want to win games, like that is football, but also like, you must feel like if you're having a bad day and you go out and you play football, even if it's training, like surely like just stomping out any bad thoughts it must be relieving. I do, but I'm a big strong believer of exercise helps so much.
Yeah, I think if they say, obviously again, every single person downstairs, like, and in here, probably all got their own individual battles that they have on whatever scale. But I think, like you say, we're very, very fortunate and so lucky when we go out and train, or you go out in the stadium and you play. See, your mind's just completely switched off from all of that. You're focused on the game, on training. And again, like you said, the amount of times you come in and you've had a bit of a bad day the previous day, you come in, train, and just instantly feel way better. So like you say, that's why we're probably both so strongly, or speak strongly about the exercise and getting out and being active. I think that's so important for anybody.
If someone's watching this and they're struggling with their mental health, what would you say to them, and what would you advise them in a sense?
Like a summary of all what we've said, is the first one's definitely speak with the closest people that you have to you, whether that's family or friends, whoever you just feel comfortable speaking to.
Yeah.
And then like we said again, just getting outside, doing something. It probably will improve your mood or whatever you're feeling. It can clear your head. I think I'd recommend those.
No, amazing. What about you?
Yeah, for me again, it's hard because we're probably so alike in terms of what we think would be our solution. Again, I think if you're in that moment where things feel really, really bad and you are struggling, I've always sort of been, I don't know if I can't think who it was who said it, but there's a saying that I love, and it's this too shall pass. So eventually, whatever it is you're sort of going through, or however bad it feels, eventually, I know it's really, really hard in that moment to see light at the end of the tunnel, but again, if you can sort of try and instill that in your brain, that bad moment or bad period in your life, it will eventually pass, of course. If you don't change things, or you don't try and help by speaking, by exercising, doing other things, that's going to be very difficult. But like you say, if you put the right steps in place, all the stuff we've spoke about today, and speak to people, there's so many people that'll care and love you, probably way more than people actually know. Yeah. And yeah, just try and remember that it will pass.
I always say everyone's tunnel's different, but no matter how dark or long the tunnel is, you all get to the other side.
For sure.
No, genuinely, this has been such I'm not going to use the word surreal, I'm going to say it's inspiring. This is really a humbling conversation, and I want to try and dap you both up, but I don't know who to turn to first. So I'm just going we'll go there from right to left.
Pleasure.
Well, thank you very much.
Great
to speak to you both, and thank you for talking about mental health, because it's not spoken enough about, and to hear it from two people that, you know, inspiring, and you see, it really does mean a lot, and I know a lot of people will get a lot from this, so thank you very much. That was absolutely class. Thank you so much to Kieran and Lewie for that, really, really inspiring. Please talk about your mental health, get in touch, get in contact with Hull and East Yorkshire Mind. People are here to help, people do care about you, you are so loved. Mental health matters, thank you. If I ever get another interview gig, I'll see you shortly. If not, I'm Marcus. Bye-bye.